long before humanity knew maps. Before the names of continents were carved into stone, even before the seas had names. There was a massive land that stood alone in the middle of the ocean. That land did not appear by accident. It was believed to have been born from a fracture in the sky. Legend says that when the earth was still young, the heavens were torn apart by a gigantic blue light that fell from the darkness of the cosmos. The light struck the primordial ocean and split the waters apart for 7 days and 7 nights. When the waves finally became still, an island emerged that had never existed before. That island was given a name: Atlantik, a land believed to be the heart of the world. The first person to set foot on the land of Atlantik was not a king, not a god, nor a war commander. He was only a wanderer named Arael, a man who came from the eastern world aboard a black wooden boat. No one knew where he came from. Some legends say he was the only human who survived the ancient War of the Heavens. Others believed he was never truly human at all. When Arael arrived, Atlantik was still a wild land. Black forests covered almost the entire island. Crystal mountains stood at the center of the land, and strange sounds echoed from beneath the sea every night. But Arael was not afraid. He walked into the heart of the island, lit the first fire, built the first home, and carved the first symbol into stone. The symbol read, "The sea gives life, but one day it will take everything back." Year after year passed. People began arriving in Atlantik: sailors, hunters, exiles. They had all heard stories of the mysterious island whose land glowed at night. Under Arael's leadership, Atlantik transformed into a kingdom. But this kingdom was different. They did not build walls from ordinary stone. They used blue crystals discovered beneath the mountain. The crystal was called Arael, a source of energy believed to be alive. Arael crystals could illuminate entire cities without fire, power machines without wind, even extend human life. And because of that, Atlantik advanced far beyond every other civilization. While other nations still relied on wood and iron, Atlantik had already built towers of light that touched the clouds. They created ships that moved without sails. built waterways beneath the earth, and established a colossal hall of knowledge known as the Library of the Sky, a place where all the knowledge of the world was gathered. As Arael grew old, the people asked him to become their king, but Arael refused. He said, "A man who holds power for too long will forget that he is nothing but dust." Yet the people continued to insist, and in the end, Arael accepted the crown. He became King Arael I, the first ruler of Atlantik. Under his leadership, Atlantik entered its golden age. There was no hunger, no war, no disease. The sea provided endless food. Arion crystals supplied limitless energy. And the people lived in a luxury the world had never seen before. But prosperity slowly gave birth to arrogance. One night, the coastal guard saw something rise from the depths of the ocean. A gigantic figure. Its body resembled a human, but its entire skin glowed with blue light. Its eyes were dark like bottomless voids. The creature did not speak. It simply stood among the waves, silently staring at the city of Atlantik. The next morning, the sea suddenly withdrew far from the shore. Dead fish covered the beaches, and a deep rumbling began echoing from beneath the The kingdom's priests believed it was a terrible omen. They discovered an ancient inscription beneath Mount Erie. Atlantik was never built for mankind. It is only a trust. And the sea will one day reclaim it. But the nobles laughed at the prophecy, because to them, Atlantik was far too powerful to ever fall. After King Arael died, the crown was passed to his son, King Vaelor. Unlike his father, Vaelor hungered for power. He believed Atlantik was never meant to remain just a kingdom. He wanted it to become the ruler of the entire world. Vaelor ordered massive Arion mining operations. Crystal mountains were split apart. The ocean floor was excavated. the more Arion was used. The stronger Atlantik's technology became, but slowly. The sea began to change. The water grew darker. Storms appeared without reason. And every night, the people began hearing whispers rising from beneath the ocean. Stop, 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 stop. But Vaelor became even more obsessed. He believed the voices were nothing more than the fear of the gods toward the power of Atlantik. To prove that mankind stood above the gods, Vaelor built the greatest tower in history, the Tower of Heaven. The tower was forged from pure Arael. Its height pierced the clouds. Its light could be seen from the edge of the world. Legend says, the summit of the tower was used to open a gateway to the heavens. And on the night of its completion, the sky truly split apart. A blue light descended from above. But what came was not a miracle. It was a voice. A voice so overwhelming that every person in Atlantik fell to their knees in terror. Arrogance has crossed the boundary. Then the entire sky turned red. That day, the sea suddenly became still. There were no waves, no wind, no sound of birds. Silence, silence. A silence far too deep. The priests wept because they knew this was the end. Then the ground began to tremble. At first, it was slight. Then it grew stronger and stronger. Cracks spread across the entire city. The Arion towers began to shatter. And from beneath the earth, a colossal blue light erupted upward. Mount Arion exploded. The sky burned. The sea rose as high as mountains. People ran, screamed, prayed, but it was already too late. A gigantic black wave crashed into Atlantik. The palace was destroyed. The Tower of Heaven collapsed. The Library of the Sky sank into the depths of the ocean, and in a single night, the greatest kingdom in the world vanished, swallowed by the sea. Amid the destruction, Vaelor stood atop the collapsing Tower of Heaven. he watched his city drown. He heard his people dying. For the very first time, the king who once believed himself equal to the gods felt fear. Legend says that before the final wave struck him, Vaelor spoke these words: "We only wanted to become eternal." Then the ocean swallowed him. And Atlantik vanished from the world. Thousands of years passed. The world came to believe that Atlantik was nothing more than a legend. Yet sailors still tell stories that on certain nights, when the sea becomes completely still, a blue light can be seen deep beneath the ocean. Some claim they can hear the bells of a city ringing from the seabed. Others speak of giant tower shadows moving beneath the waves. And there is one legend more terrifying than all the rest. It is said Atlantik was never truly destroyed. The kingdom still exists, locked beneath the sea, waiting for humanity to repeat the same arrogance once again. Thousands of years after the fall of Atlantik, the world slowly forgot they had ever existed. But not all of Atlantik's people died that night. Legend says several ships managed to escape before the final wave struck. They sailed without direction, crossing dark oceans for many years. Some vanished. Some were swallowed by the sea. Until Otete, less. The final survivors discovered a chain of green islands far to the east. Islands filled with volcanoes, dense forests, and oceans that felt alive. That place would one day become known as Nusantara. Now, the survivors of Atlantik no longer built massive kingdoms. They feared repeating the arrogance of the past. So the knowledge of Atlantik was hidden, broken apart into symbols, myths, and legends, passed down secretly from generation to generation. It is said some ancient relics of Nusantara actually came from Atlantik. Stories of lost golden cities, legends of half-divine humans born from the sea, and the belief that mountains and oceans possess guardian spirits. Some even believe the first ancestors of Nusantara's great sailors were the last descendants of Atlantik itself. That is why, since ancient times, the people of Nusantara have always shared a deep bond with the sea. They read the stars, mastered the oceans, and sailed across vast distances, while other nations still feared leaving the shore. But there was one inheritance from Atlantik that was guarded above all else. A message. A warning passed down in secret through the ages. Never awaken the blue light beneath the sea. Because according to the old legends, Atlantik never truly died. The kingdom is only sleeping. And one day, when humanity once again becomes too greedy for the world, the ocean will open the path for their return.